This is a Hohner ST Custom, which I just bought. It's a cheap guitar, but it's a fairly good looking guitar. But what really gave me a problem initially was this little thing, which is a Steinberger tremolo with microtune. See those knobs on the top? They're supposedly, they just clamp down on the string and add or release pressure as you see fit to microtune it. They're not very worthwhile as tuners. In fact, the whole thing is a pretty dodgy unit and was manufactured out by Steinberger under license to various manufacturers. So I don't think Steinberger ever produced them themselves. They were just licensed out to people like Hohner and other makers. The really thing that puzzled me first when I got this card was this little thing in the front, which is a sort of device which I later found out was used to tension the tremolo against the pull of the strings. What happens is, if you get one of these, just take all the strings off, get that thing out, and underneath you'll see a plate which is screwed into the bottom of the guitar. And this thing here has a plate underneath about 3 strings wide, which slots into the base plate and is tensioned by a spring. There's a spring here, pretty crude single spring, which butts up against the plate on the underside of this. And this little gizmo is a ratchet device which is used to tension that. You pull it down, you press it in, and you screw in. You have to pull it up and press it in and screw in, pull it up and press it in and screw in, and it winds up the spring, that goes through there and butts up against the plate that this top thing is got. Now that's okay, unless you screw it up really tight. It's about as far as it can go. This thing is going to lift up under any tension of the string. It's going to lift up and make the whole thing unworkable. So what you've got to do, there's a little switch here which supposedly locks the tremolo in one position, it clips into a little groove on the underside of the tremolo, but frankly it's useless, it's worthless. So if you're using that, lock it in, but put a little plate of metal, which I've done here, this little foil of metal, to keep that wedged in. Then that's fine, it works as an ordinary bridge. If you wind this up as far as it will go, tension the string right up against the plate on the underside of this, then when you release that lock, the whole thing should not float up very much and you should be able to use a tremolo. This hasn't got a tremolo attached because that was the way I bought it. The tremolo arm goes in there. You might be able to pick one up and make it into a usable guitar. I still think it looks like a nice guitar. I'm still happy I bought it. But if you're worried about these awful Steinberger bridges, that's the answer.